All right. It took us a little while to get set up today. Started drinking a little early, but show them what we're drinking today.
Well, today we are drinking this fine specimen. It's called the Big Believer, and I picked it up today for us because we are actually talking about our beliefs and the universe and just everything that we...
Ghosts, aliens,
Sasquatches, Loch Ness Monsters.
Loch Ness Monster, Abominable Snowman, UFOs.
Psycho ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them
Cheers
all. I
up.
love them.
I love them. This is why we're here, because of you.
Hey, we did our intro already. You saw the Sasquatch wine. That is leading us into a topic that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm pretty sure I could have a PhD in this shit. I've studied it since I was like 11 years old. Basically, we're talking all things paranormal, all things esoteric, UFO, ghosts,
energy.
Yeah, different energies and entities and
Just our belief, like what we believe in, the universe, and how we kind of came to believe that.
I
know you did from a lot younger age than I did.
I've seen some crazy stuff, and I think that at first you think you might be kind of nuts, and then it just, for me, it kept happening, and there's no denying it. There's something else going on.
I don't think anyone can deny that there isn't more out there.
And I think people can believe what they want to believe. I'm not taking away from anybody's beliefs or religion or anything like that, but I want to tell you what I've personally witnessed, and multiple times. And
so this episode, we're just talking about, we're being fun. We're talking about serious, like about our beliefs.
No, but it's some crazy stuff. And I have like validated proof that I can show you to just back it up and make your own decision. And after talking with her, we really had a lot of similar experiences. Once you start drinking and you start
thinking,
but you start talking and, some of these, instances come up and I totally believe everything you have to say, and the stories are crazy enough in their own right. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna start telling you our stories.
Yeah.
And if you guys have stories, I want to hear them. I love it. I love paranormal caught on camera. I watch all this stuff like
Life After Death.
Yeah, the Surviving Death is like I've watched that series. I don't even know, 10 times.
We've watched it so many times. It's so many, like our life.
If I had known that there was an actual college that you can have a major in, the paranormal and all things supernatural and near-death experiences and expanding consciousness and what happens to consciousness after we die. Like,
maybe in a past life you were at that college.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I think it's at the Virginia. I see it's on Surviving Death, and it's like the Center of Perceptual Studies or Center of Perceptual Sciences. And I'm like, this is a major, like, fuck. I spent all my money trying to teach the youth of America. I want to learn this stuff,
I should have been teaching about my own life.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to go into this topic.
It's something very dear to both of us.
Yeah.
She definitely discovered it a lot earlier on, what you felt. We are on the same page, but I was a skeptic. Like, this took me a while to feel the same. Yeah.
Your story is super like...
Well, why don't you talk about yours first?
Like, yours is kind of like you have to believe
after that. It was shoved in my face.
So with mine, one of the first things that I noticed, and I see it now with my daughter, so I don't know if I noticed or was perceptive at even a younger age, but I was laying in bed, and we grew up in, super old farm town. House was built in 1812 in Tecumseh, Michigan. It's Queen Anne Victorian. Looks like a freaking ghost house, witch house, like the old Victorian home that's not well taken care of and crackly paint and it's scary looking. So I'm up in my bedroom, and I'm laying in bed. We have a bunch of cats. And
I kind of like you do now.
Yeah.
They're in all the videos behind the scenes.
These cats, but I love them so much.
I fucking hate them.
Well, no, we all love them, but they're spoiled brats. But anyways, so one of these cats jumps up on the bed, and I'm like, okay. So I lean up to pet the cat, and nothing's there. I physically felt the pressure, something jumped up onto me, and even there's an indentation. Like, I'm like, this is crazy. And there's no cat. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
And also the houses were built in, they had the old, it wasn't like a doorknob where we turn like this. It had the old latch.
Like the key
The
too?
latch. Well, no, it's like the push latches. So it's like a lever. So it goes click, you click it open, click, click. So
Okay, yeah.
I'm laying in bed and the door's just cracked. You see a little light, and all of a sudden, click, 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 click. And then this time I got scared. I was like, fuck that. And I got out and I ran downstairs, and there was always an issue in my closet. My bed faced my closet door. I could not go to sleep unless the closet door was shut. And I'd have to ask my little brother or sister, I'm like, please come in my room and shut the closet door. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like there was just such a presence, like a portal into something scary that shouldn't have been there. And later to find out, after researching the house, the previous owner from, like, I don't know, 1890 or something like that, 100 years before we lived there, he actually died in the bathtub and was found in the pool of, blood in the bathtub.
Crazy.
So fast forward, and then I'll digress off this, but fast forward to a couple years ago, I now have children of my own. My youngest is Chloe. She's probably 2.5 at this time. We're in my old bedroom. I'm giving her a bottle. It's nap time. And I'm giving her the bottle, and she's staring. She's staring across the room. And she pops the bottle out. Who's that man? And I'm like, I'm not nuts. And I'm like, she sees it too. Like, and so I'm like, I don't know, Chloe. And I'm all excited. I'm like,
Was there wine in that bottle? by chance?
No. This is some serious, like, this was such a validating moment for me that I was like, I knew it. There's something in this house. Whatever you want to call it, some energy, you could feel it.
Yeah.
And she's pointing and she's like, who's that man? I get all excited. I'm like, ask, his name. And she goes, Chloe. I go, no, Chloe, ask the man what his name is. And she goes, he's fat. And she can barely talk. And I'm thinking, oh my God, don't piss off the ghost. Now you're calling him fat, So I just say, hey, this is not your time. This is our home now. You're not welcome here. And I try to, release the energy, the only way I really knew at that time. And I mean, it was like validating for me that she saw that, and they say children are more perceptive, right? I mean,
they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Animals
Absolutely.
and children.
Yeah.
So it made me feel better that I'm not nuts. But no, my whole life, it was scary going, through that. But
Yeah, no, and I get that. And I mean, we both believe in energy. Like, energy can't be created nor destroyed. It's scientifically proven, and I think that's where when I went through my situation, I really gravitated towards that because I'm like, it is explainable. Like, it absolutely is. And
so where does that energy
our
go after you
bodies die? Our physical bodies are it's just like a capsule for your soul. Your soul goes into so many different things.
I heard it called like skins or something like that.
I mean,
like your skin.
Whatever you want to call it.
That was a movie.
I was like, what's his name? Hannibal Lecter.
No.
I'm wearing your skin.
No, I think Ryan Reynolds was in the movie I was talking about.
That just got creepy when it's supposed to be really happy.
Yeah, it was Ryan Reynolds. How'd you just ruin Ryan Reynolds for me?
Because you talked about skin.
Like, this is the skin for our beautiful, energetic soul. Asshole. Anyway.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Still going back to the wrong. That's not what we're talking about.
Anyways. What we are talking about is,
So with these energies and stuff like that, you said you were a skeptic. And I didn't know that about you because we're so on the same page.
We are so in tune. It just took me a lot longer to really.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was a major skeptic.
So
like,
tell them.
I was like, when people talk about ghosts and aliens, I was like, you need to stop doing drugs. Like, that was my thought process before.
I have something else to say for them, but.
And.
Anyways, no. So tell us what made you a like stone cold like disbeliever.
Okay.
What was the instance for you?
So,
because I already know, and it's pretty. It creeped me out, and I've seen some shit.
And I did. I thought I was going crazy. So, I dated a guy that was, you know, the love of my life, in my 20s, and he had a major drug addiction. I've talked about that in another episode, a little bit touched on it. And he committed suicide. And my world, like, it fucking fell apart.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see why you maybe thought you were crazy.
He actually came to shoot me and he shot himself. It was going to be a murder-suicide. And I found his brains on the floor on Halloween.
Crazy.
And I had nightmares for weeks, and I thought I was going crazy. I went into this black hole. Like, I just wanted to die. Like, I wanted my whole life to just end. I was done.
How you can even process that kind of pain. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you think, like, if anybody dies, but, like, the love of your life that you think you're going to spend forever with.
Yeah. And
regardless of, I mean, obviously something really horrible had ensued before.
yeah,
but it's still
his whole life
shock
was traumatic, and like
reality.
I'll never bash him. Like his whole life was traumatic. The reasons he did drugs, you know, whatever. That's irrelevant to this topic. But when he passed away, like my world just fell apart, and I feel like because he left me in such a traumatic way, it was like he had to find this way to like show me that life was going to be okay.
Yeah,
and I remember I was like out of town working.
Like what? Like sending you
coins
or I mean
no, and people talk about that like leaving dimes and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
but
not
it
like
was
that.
there was no sign, there was no like nothing was planned. Obviously he committed suicide. It was very like immediate. And
was he like on drugs when he did this? I mean, probably.
yeah, he
or
was.
Do you think he knew what he was doing, or was there like a note?
So I don't want to take away.
I don't know.
I don't want to take away from suicide, but because I've been through it, my view on it is that at the end of the day, your body is fight or flight. Like you don't ever want to die. Like you fight for yourself. And I don't believe that anyone who commits suicide really wants to die. I think you reach a point where you're mentally on such a different level, whether it's drugs or just like severe depression or trauma.
Sadness.
And you are at a level where you just can't even reason or rational with life anymore. And I think that's the level he got to because he was not a suicidal person at all. Yeah. And I always thought it was selfish. Like people tell you it's selfish. And I'm like, and then as time went on, I realized that his pain, he was in so much pain. He wasn't built to even be in this life. Right. And so for me, it was like, yeah, he never would have done it. And I felt like he needed to leave me a sign. Like he needed to be like, you're going to be okay because I left you in such a traumatic way. And that's what happened. I was laying in bed in this hotel room. It was like 6:00 at night. And I was like, I'm not going to go for dinner for like another half an hour. Right. I wasn't drinking wine. I wasn't drinking anything. And I was just laying there having a little, kind of pretending to have a little nap. Not pretending, but just, relaxing.
Yeah, and it feels like pretending a lot of times.
Yeah, because
like,
I wasn't closing my eyes. I was just like, I just want to be relaxed for a minute. And
I feel guilty even taking
suddenly here he was. Like he was standing next to my bed in this hotel room in this random town I'd never been to. Like in physical form? Like physical form. Like the way I remembered him in this white t-shirt. He had jeans on.
Like standing there.
Just standing there.
Like, could you see through him like the typical ghost? It was like a full.
It was like so realistic.
Style.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he leaned down.
I actually don't know this story.
He actually leaned down and he kissed me on the lips. And I'll never forget. Like, I felt the feeling of someone kissing you. And then he was just like gone. He was out the window. It was that fast. It was like a 5-second thing.
See, and
I immediately sat up and I called one of my girlfriends and I was like, I think I'm fucking losing my mind. Like, I think I'm wanting to see him so bad that I'm making
it up in my head.
And she goes, no, you're not. And I said, no, I'm making it up. And then after that, like, every other reading
can manifest after. I think I would like to experience it, maybe how you did, but
and like I said, I feel like because he left me in such a way, he had to be like, "You're gonna be okay." Yeah. That was his way of like kissing me and being like, "You're gonna go through this life because you don't deserve, like you have a purpose." Yeah. And then that's when of course, we've found our purpose, but. You had to go through all these hard things to realize your purpose. And that's when I started believing that the universe is greater. I mean, I always believed there was something. I just didn't know what it was. Like, I was kind of like, I know there's something. I don't really believe in God. I don't believe in this man-made book that's written for you. I believe in the good morals of it. But, and I'm not against what anyone believes in. And I want to make that really clear. Like, whatever makes you feel good.
Your
like,
belief. That makes you happy.
And that's great. And you should. Yeah. And you should always own that.
Well, that empowers you because really... the whole belief is inside yourself. Like, I don't want to say, like, I don't know how to word this I go to church with the kids, but I think it's like you finding yourself. You be like your own God to yourself. Like you are the destination. You are the prize.
And everything you go through leads you down
And
that path to find yourself.
Yes.
And it's so funny because after he passed and that experience I had with him there, I remember about a year later, I'm laying in bed and I started yelling out loud. Like I was like, where the fuck are you? Like you were here for me and now you're not there and I'm alone and I want to die and I hate my life.
Stages of grief. Like
and
you're sad and then you're angry.
And then he just like was there. He appeared like in my bed, like through the headboard. Like nothing makes sense. Like it sounds so stupid because it's like not even realistic in my mind that he was like, why is he coming through my headboard? But he was like this and he was holding my hand and he's like, Jax, every night when you go to sleep, he's like, I'm holding your hand. And he spoke. And then he was gone.
It's called clairaudience. I have stuff like that where I've heard. I would like hear someone in my ear, like it was like someone leaned in and was their lips were right next to me ear and say, "Kaylin," like they would say my name, and I heard it clear as day, and I mean it was just like okay, so it's like they want to be known. I mean, maybe there's another scientific explanation. Like, please tell me. Like, if you're into this kind of stuff, like, this is kind of why we're putting this stuff out there. Like, I'd like to know what your thoughts
really
are.
In tune, like that's when the universe shows you. Like even when we talk about mindset and all these things in our previous episodes, like when you're in tune with yourself, like you're able to open yourself up because you're not closing yourself up with traumas. You're not closing yourself up with pain.
And it's these moments, it's usually at bed right before I'm about to drift asleep. And it's like that moment of like, oh my God, relaxation. So yes, it's a moment where I can just lay in bed and I'm just finally
And that's what I mean. And like after the second time he came to me, I'm like, well, this is like my wake up. Like this is me realizing that like I am going to be okay. Because, obviously I needed that. Like I needed that voice. I needed that closure in my life so I could move on. And now I'm in a better place mentally thinking about his death because I know that he's there for me in a way he never could be in this life because his pain in this life was too great to be that person I needed. And that's why he was so, abusive because he couldn't get through it. But now, he comes up in every reading that he's my guardian angel. He's like this person that's there. That's like, Jax, you're gonna make it. Like
he comes up in every reading. But what reading? Like, tarot cards.
I've done it all. I've done a medium.
Hands. What is that called? Palm reading.
Yeah, I've done the medium mostly, but I've done tarots as well. And he's always like this person that's there. That's like, I'm going to be there for you in the way I never could be in this life. And I think that's really special.
Either way, he just wants you to know he can do more good for you there than if he's here. He wasn't built for this world. Never was. You are. He would come to create obstacles for you. That's what the teammate thing is in every life. To create the choice of sink or swim. Stay with him and sink. Leave him and swim. That makes sense, though? And you've never left him in any life. He's either had to die or he took you down with him.
I had some cool psychics, like, told me, like, oh, your dad died in a fire. I'm like, okay, I'm listening, like he did. Like, said I'm going to be very wealthy. Haven't seen it yet, but I'm still hoping they're right. They were right about my dad. Well, no, they were right about my dad, and I actually have a photo and a video. So my dad did die.
You gotta show this photo because it's crazy.
Well, my dad did die in a fire, and I was 5 years old. And my little brother and sister, this is up in Michigan. And, I mean, it was, I guess, 15 years later, we all went to Christmas at my dad's side of the family. And we haven't had a Christmas together. And it was so weird. It was my brother and my sister, both of my kids that I've had. And, like, it's just, all the family was there is what I'm trying to say. So all the family's there. It's the first time probably since he passed away like 15, 20 years ago. And at first I see this, I mean a ball of energy, like, or light. It was like I'm videotaping my daughter just being silly, and I see this light ball come by. I see with my naked eye, and I catch it in my camera lens, like on my phone. So I'm seeing
Like an orb almost.
Yeah,
Like, have you ever seen those orbs in the back of your photos?
I'm
Yeah.
watching it with my own eyes, not through the phone. I'm watching it right in front of me. And then I didn't think anything of it. I think, oh, like you said, an orb or light or dust particles. And I'm just more focused on my kid. Later on, I go back through and I see this light ball moving, and then it comes through my daughter. So you see this ball and you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you see it come through my daughter. And normally that wouldn't be weird either, but she like takes her binky out and she's like, what was that? Like, she felt it pass through her or something, because she was like, and I'll show you the video so it'll make more sense. So whatever, you get what I'm saying, you're gonna see the video. That's what started my look through all my photos that I've taken. And I get to a picture and I always ask people, like, how many people do you see in this photo? And it's like, there 4 or whatever, 5. And then I'm like, okay, zoom in. There is my father. Like, I mean, clear as day.
I've seen the photo.
Like, they're gonna look at it right now.
You can't be a skeptic when you see this.
Like, it's him, and he's just imprinted right there, hanging out with all of us, with the family. And it just gave me such comfort. It didn't scare me or anything. I'm like, wow, he's just here hanging out, and it was really beautiful, and it was really nice.
And how do you explain that? It's like when
it was my coat. It was my winter jacket thrown over the couch. And I mean, you can say what you want. Like, I'm not nuts. Like, look at the picture. It is not doctored. It is not touched. You can do whatever you want. Look at this file. It's my dad.
Yeah.
Okay. And my dad just happens to look like Borat. Like, you can't mistake him. Okay,
it's
like,
very nice.
He's a very, very handsome. Yours is better.
And it's crazy that you're talking about that photo of your dad, because when I think back, I actually remember this moment when I took my ex's son to Heritage Park. I don't know if you're familiar with. You probably have something similar.
I mean, we have
here.
Heritage Park here, but I'm sure it's
like
different.
old buildings,
like the
they
ghost
say
town.
they're haunted.
Ghost town. Yeah, Heritage.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the old fashioned 1800s, like when they used to have like horse and buggies.
Yes,
okay,
exactly. So I brought him there. We went on a date, like round, looking at all the old houses, the old opera house, whatever. And
was Penny alive at this point?
He was still. He
was alive. Okay.
Yeah, he was still alive, and we went into one of the houses that's supposed to be super haunted, and I took a photo. Benny actually took the photo of me and his son standing in front of it.
So it's you 2 guys, you and the son together.
Sorry, Benny and his son together.
Okay, you took the photo of Benny and his son.
I took the photo.
Okay.
And they're standing in front of this house.
What is it?
And I show Benny the photo the next day. I'm like, oh, looking through the photos of our day at, Heritage Park. And his son's arm's, like, missing. Like, it's completely gone. His whole arm. He's in a t-shirt. He's standing outside of his house,
That's
like
weird.
right in front with his dad, and his entire arm is missing.
And he was in a t-shirt, so you could see like the skin.
Yeah, like
it wasn't there. Like the arm wasn't there.
Yeah, the arm was gone.
So like, what do you think that means? Like,
I showed him that, and I was like, "Where is your son's arm? Like, what?" And he was like, he couldn't even fathom it. He couldn't even figure it out. Like, we were all like.
So like,
it's almost like there was a spirit there that was like standing in front of him,
or like blocking
or
the arm
next to him,
or something.
Or like someone significant maybe standing next to him, and
that could be. I mean, the thing with that is there's so many different
like how do you
theories.
explain that?
It's like, is it a premonition, and the kid's arm he's gonna have some like tractor accident, or I'm just saying, like, some of those things can be premonitions.
Maybe.
Or well, like what you're saying, I mean, that was a little extreme.
That's just
but like some kind of amputation or something. I feel like, or what you're saying, or maybe something was blocking that.
I feel like it's a block, like just kind of like those orbs, like how they're behind you in a photo, and you see that light.
I feel like though you could see through like the apparition.
I don't know. I don't know. I will again. I will put the photo on this because
if anybody has any insight into this, like we want. I mean, interact with us. Like I'm curious. Like I love this stuff. I'd love to be open to all the options. Like, okay, your theory makes probably more sense. You're in a ghost town and, but who knows?
Her theory is big believer wine based.
I'm telling you.
It does something to your consciousness.
Telling you. Well, that is interesting. And I mean, I have other videos. I mean, I'll drop them below, like comment,
And we do want people to like comment on everything and
give
tell
us
your stories.
insight. Tell us your stories.
Yeah.
Send us, oh my God, send us your pictures. Send us the weird pictures that you have that might be paranormal or anything. I would love to see them.
I mean, if we can all exist here, there's no reason we can't exist everywhere else, and that therefore, to me, none of this is crazy. Like none of it.
Go into even like parallel universes and different dimensions and different lives happening simultaneously.
There's life forms all over.
To what is that? It's the Mandela effect. Where did you see that? That was going around
Yes.
Instagram and TikTok and everything about the movie Shazam or Kazam, and where it's like Shaquille O'Neal plays a genie or something, or not Shaquille O'Neal, he really did, I think. Who the one guy where I'm like, I remember that, and they're saying it's like the Mandela effect, where it becomes such a mass belief that maybe like the wires got crossed, from these different parallel universes, and. I mean, that's a cool theory. Look, it's quantum physics.
Yeah,
I mean, time is an illusion.
It's energy. It is time. You know what's funny that you said time's an illusion, because I was at, I went and saw a medium like during early on in COVID. And I was just like, I've always had my ex come up in my readings, but like not really, like here and there. And I finally was like, well, maybe he was in such a dark place because he left in such a bad way, he committed suicide, and maybe he had to go through like the different realms and the different like healing or whatever you go through.
Who knows? We don't know yet.
And I went and saw this medium, and immediately when I walked in, he was just like, your energy is like so strong. And I was like, well, what are you talking about?
Do you think that's what mediums really say? They're like, oh, I was drawn to you.
No,
like,
he was he was like,
circle back.
I've talked to so many people. He's like, but something about you when you came in.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, do you realize that you're from the future?
Huh.
And I was like, well, that sounds crazy. And he's like, no. And he's like, and do you know what that means? And I said, well, I kind of understand it. Like, I do feel like I'm not really, but I don't really belong here. I have an understanding of greater, and he was like, well, time's an illusion. He's like, so you're actually here to like save yourself and bring yourself forward. And that was like really interesting. And then he touched on so many different things. And I actually have it all recorded.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's find that recording. And I'm interested in if anybody has any insight. Like, I mean, that's an interesting concept.
It's gonna sound a little fucking weird, okay? But you're from the fucking future. If that makes any sense to you. You understand time is an illusion, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm just so evolved that I'm the future.
You've come back to help the transition. Mm-hmm. Are you as consciously spiritual as you are? If that makes sense, like as you feel to me.
I think so.
Okay. Well, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just like you're very like it's a constant, like consistent thing.
Well, I think I became that way like a few years ago, based on some things. So
I get you. Mm-hmm. What was that turning point? There's pain involved, but what's the turning point? What happened? Mm-hmm. What happened?
Someone passed. So if you want to get ahead in life, I'm from the fucking future. I know all the answers.
What'd you say? Oh, ahead. Oh.
Ahead. You're so stupid. I love you.
I love you too. This is saying no
big
more
believing
alcohol.
You are a
they're interesting concepts, though. I mean, this is something I definitely want to revisit. Again, I've said it probably 5 times in this episode. I didn't even know I was recording the episode earlier.
I wonder if that's wine based.
Bigfoot's piss. The power of Bigfoot. Okay, we're done.
Sasquatch's secrets.
I thought you'd say Sasquatch's semen.
God, I don't want one of those.
Wait,
I don't want
hold on. No. Okay, I know that was very. Don't listen to me.
Disturbing.
Probably 80% of the time.
Disturbing.
But that brings up a good topic about like negative DNA. Have you heard the theory of RH?
I love how you tied it to Sasquatch's semen.
Okay, semen. Our videographer is like asking us for more money.
He's drowning himself in the sink. No suicides. I've already talked about one today. God damn it.
Okay, but no, on a serious note, have you heard of this? I had to get, it's called a Rogam shot both times I was pregnant because they say the theory is, so RH, Rhesus monkey, that's supposedly, where we evolved from. Mankind has evolved from the Rhesus monkey. Well, there's no negative blood type, and so being A negative or B negative, so that's foreign DNA. It's alien DNA. They
So
say
I have alien DNA if I'm an O negative.
so yes, and people who are negative blood type, they're more, intuitive, perceptive. It's alien DNA. So they say, how did this get here? Had to be from something alien. So it goes into the theory of like star seeds.
And I'm from the future.
Oh, and I'm from somewhere.
So did you know that I got x-rays done as a kid and there was no wisdom teeth in my mouth? Like they never existed. And I always said, fuck you Neanderthals. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually from the future.
You're already evolved.
I'm already
Interesting.
evolved. So
There might be some
you should, everyone should
to
be my
that.
friend.
But no, but the point of what I'm
know
trying
everything.
to say is both times I was pregnant, I had to get this, specific shot. And I remember vividly because I don't fucking like shots. Like I have like full blown panic attacks and I'm getting this, it's called a Rogam shot because when you have a baby, if the baby isn't also negative DNA, then your body is going to notice it as a foreign entity and attack it. And, it could potentially do harm, if not kill, your baby inside of you. So it just brings up a really interesting purpose. Like, where did that negative blood type come from in the first place? They say it's alien DNA. Again, maybe you know something.
I don't know.
I'm just putting stuff out there that has, really intrigued me and
I would
kinda
love
made
that
me
big
question,
believer wine that's empty now to like just
reappear.
so. But anyway, this is your life.
Don't know.
Write your story, live your dream. Oh fuck! Just
And
don't give a fucking sip.
remember that you're on a fucking podcast.
And actually only have one sip because this shit's powerful.